I'm Diane Dayton. Welcome to Behind the Lines. You know, it makes a big difference when you have a desire to make a difference and to make a difference for good. And that's what Binding Love is about, and we're going to find out about that today. We do have the founder, Audra Peifer. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting us here.
Absolutely. And Dory, Impink, right?
That's right.
And you are the Lancaster County Coordinator.
I am. I am.
Okay.
And loving every minute of it.
Yeah, well, these are fantastic. I was so excited when I saw you at Gifts That Give Hope. That was December, and it was wonderful to see you there and to find out about what you're doing. So that's why we're here today, because we want more people to know what you're doing. So let's talk about how it started. You're originally from Lancaster, right, Audra?
Yes, I am. From, Manheim and Millersville area.
Okay.
Yep.
So you had this desire back in, what was it,
2012.
Okay. And what was the desire?
Yeah, so I watched a documentary, and it was about women's suffrage in other countries, and just really kind of tore up. You know how you watch something and it just makes you like think about it for a while, and it's just like there's something that I maybe could do in Lancaster. And we were involved in missions, my family was, for a while, and so I was like, okay, well, I wasn't at the point where we could just send money, so I thought, well, maybe I could do something tangibly. So my mom taught me how to sew, and I thought, okay, I can sew a couple scarves and put them together and sell them to my friends as a fundraiser and give money to an organization. So because of missions, I thought of reaching out with Youth with a Mission, because I knew that was a good organization. And so, I just found 2 homes in Thailand that were working with girls that were at risk, and knew that just stuck out to me, that I wanted to help these girls. So put together the scarves, and I love putting a name to something. And so Binding Love comes from Proverbs 3:3, let love and faithfulness never leave you, bind them around your neck, write them on the tablet of your heart. So Binding Love kind of just came, and by the end of the day, I was like, oh, babe, I told my husband, I think I'm going to make some scarves and sell them. And Binding Love is what they're going to be called. So we started doing that, and I emailed these 2 homes and was like, hey, can I send you money if I do this? And they're like, great. So it all kind of came really quickly. And I thought, well, this is just a season. I had a 1-year-old at the time. So it was, I'd put him to bed and I'd sew up some scarves. And the idea of the clothing came from not wanting to go to a fabric store and be overwhelmed with all the fabric. So I just went to Goodwill and got a couple dresses and thought, oh, this would look good together. Not thinking so much of the sustainability, but now it's so cool to be able to use the clothing.
Upcycling, as we call it, right?
Exactly. Changing something and making it, kind of giving it a better purpose or a
new life.
It's
a new life and a new purpose.
Right, repurposing it. So, I put the scarves together and sold them quickly with friends, because it was towards Christmas. People wanted to get gifts. They liked the idea. And then it just kind of kept growing, unbeknownst to me that it would be still where it is today, but exciting nonetheless,
Yeah, so it really started to take off. But you were sitting at home with your sewing machine, just doing it yourself to begin with.
Right, to the point where the sewing machine that I had was a $10 garage sale find that my mom gave me. And I was like, sure, this can, fix things and sew curtains or simple things. But one of my kids actually pulled it off the table and it broke. So there for a while, it was like clink, 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 clinking every time I sew. So I finally was like, I think we need a new sewing machine if I'm going to keep sewing. But
So you got to a point where there was enough interest, you had to get other people involved, right?
Yes. So 12 years ago is kind of when, human trafficking became aware. Everyone kind of started, these documentaries kind of came about, and people started realizing, okay, America, we need to do something about this. We're part of the problem with our industry of pornography and things is really causing trafficking to just kind of spread rampantly in different parts of the world. So I think a lot of people just were aware, so then they wanted to do something. Right. So right away, we were contacted by different ministries saying, hey, your scarves are great, let's have them at this fashion show, and let's have them different places. And so I realized, oh my, I cannot keep sewing 100 scarves. in a weekend. So I just put on Facebook like, hey, does anyone want to help me sew? And so we had a couple seamstresses start from the beginning that are still sewing with us in Lancaster that said, I can sew, and they don't like the design part, they don't like the cutting part, but once we give them the whole designed and ready to sew, they love putting it together. So yeah, I did need help, and over the years we've had probably hundreds of different volunteers doing the different processes, the sewing or the designing or the cutting. We've been in schools where school clubs have done just the cutting, where I bring clothes and talk about it and they cut. And so it's such a tangible way to do, to be involved in.
Yeah, it really is. So Dory, how did you get involved?
Well, God definitely had his hand in this. We babysat, my husband and I, our 5 grandsons for about 9 years. And about a year ago, they were all in school full time, and I was looking for either a ministry or volunteer opportunity. And I had been familiar with Binding Love, and I got her email that said they were relocating. And so I reached out and said, is there anything that I can do? I love to organize. I love to be behind the scenes. And we met, and she's like, yeah, actually there is. And here her thought was she was going to have to close down the Lancaster part of it because she wasn't going to be here. And I said, oh no, I'd love to do all that. And the rest is history. I've been doing it for about a year. I help with gathering the donated clothing or fabric, and have several people who love to get together and help cut when we get a large donation. And a friend of mine was very interested, so she helps doing the designing, and then so I just facilitate that whole part, and I love it.
And
I
we
really do.
see you at events like Gifts That Give Hope,
Yep.
which were great.
Yep. We're going to do one at Victory Church coming up the beginning of June. They have a women's event, so we'll have a stand there.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
We can.
Yeah.
So where can we find these scarves in our area, Dory? Do you?
Yeah, we have 4 locations right now. One in downtown Lancaster at the Sweet Shop.
Oh, okay.
And then in New Holland at the New Holland Coffee Company. In Columbia there is Kindred Collections, and in Mannheim at Divine Consign.
Okay.
Those are our current. And at the Divine Consign location they sell the children's scarves as well as adults. Oh, and at the Sweet Shop we just started selling children's scarves there as well.
Oh, that's great. But we can also get them online.
Yes,
right?
yes.
Audra, tell us.
BindingLove.org is our website, which will give you background of the 2 homes. It'll give you the stock, the places we stock them at, and then also you can buy them online, like buy them at our shop. Yeah.
I think that's great. Can you hold the one up that you have so we can look at how this actually comes together?
Yeah. So they're all infinity. So they're all the infinity scarves, which really you just put on your neck and then wrap into an 8. I know some people get complicated, but then they're all, so here, I mean, this you can see that it is definitely from an old flannel shirt that still has the buttons on. Some of them we try to save the look of the clothing, but then on the back it will explain a little bit about the scarf. It'll give you the website, and then it also says this one of a kind scarf helps provide hope and restoration, which it does. It's amazing how far one scarf goes. That's part of our motto is, one scarf makes a huge difference.
And they're each unique.
They are. They're
so
one of
you can
everyone.
find so many different fabrics and put them together. Well, we're going to find out more about the good this is doing.
Yeah.
And we're also going to find out how we can help.
Yeah.
So right after this, stay with us.
You're watching Lancaster Community TV, LCTV 66.
Welcome back to Behind the Lines. We're talking about really making a difference, and Binding Love is doing that. We're with Audra and we're with Dory, and the 2 places in Thailand that are really the beneficiary of all of this. Let's tell everybody about them and give them a background.
Yeah. So the 2 homes are both in Chiang Rai, Thailand, in the northern province of Thailand. And they both are girls' homes. So they have over 60 plus girls there in their 2 homes, and the one home, Eden House, is designed for at-risk girls. So in northern Thailand, there's a lot of hill tribes, and the hill tribes don't necessarily have Thai citizenship. So they're kind of left, in their own healthcare, own education, and so a lot of girls just don't get the education that they might have if they were not just from the hill tribes. So Eden House has helped them get education, and they've helped them be able to, because for a Thai girl, that's a huge thing. If you don't have any education, then you're at risk to be trafficked, or you're at risk to just be in slave labor, or so many different things, or drugs, or there's a lot without education. So Eden House started in the early 90s, and then they've been helping girls with that. Then House of Refuge is a home that kind of is for the girls after they are rescued from abusive situations, and so they help them with restoration, they help them with healing and counseling and all the different things that the girls have to go through. And Thailand, when we first started, Thailand was #1 in the world for sex trafficking, and a lot of it was Westerners coming over to Asia and Thailand. So it kind of felt like it was an American issue, that we are part of the cause here, or the problem. And so just helping these girls, and by a simple scarf was always a cool thing.
And it makes a huge difference because it's a ripple effect.
Yes.
Because you're affecting generations then.
For sure. And
as well.
There's been girls that have graduated now from college, from Eden House, and they come back to the house. It's been there long enough that they come back and talk to the girls about how it's made an impact in their life. And so the homes we've visited, my family has visited 3 times, and we love them. The staff are amazing at all these homes, and they really love the girls, and really just are almost like family units for these girls too. And we love them.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's great. So the price on these, Dory, tell us about this, because my understanding is that half of this goes back to help.
At the retail locations in Lancaster, they are $25. When they're sold online, they're a little bit more to help cover the cost of shipping and so forth. At fairs, sometimes they're a little bit more as well to help cover the administrative costs and so forth. So anywhere from 25 up to 40, depending on where you're purchasing them.
And I love the fact that half of that really goes to help and make a difference. And you put some interesting numbers here when I was reading this. This makes it so real.
Yeah.
When you realize the dollars you give, the difference it can make. So do you have these memorized?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, you go for it.
Well, $5 in America. So if we sell this scarf here for $25, so then we'd send $12.50 over. And $5 can buy. Do I have it right for 5, or do I have it for 1?
Well, 5 provides monthly clothing needs.
Right. Okay. So $5. So one scarf could provide clothing needs for 2 girls in a month. Like,
that's great.
That is like you
That's
buy
huge.
a scarf and then you get to pay for clothing for 2 girls in a month.
Yeah.
And then 10 is that the next number?
It says 15.
Okay, 15 is for the toiletries, right?
It's the professional counseling.
counseling.
That's good. That's
Maybe
good.
I don't have it memorized. Professional
put you on the spot.
counseling.
Sorry about that.
So really, like, that's 2 scarves.
Oh my gosh, right.
Pays for a girl to do counseling, professional counseling too, which is just here, in America that would never happen. But in Thailand, it's amazing how, one scarf, $1, it makes a difference. And so then, 25 is for the education, right? So the 3 scarves for 1 month of education for the girls. And then 45 pays for their housing, their internet, their food.
Utilities and things like that. That's amazing.
Exactly. So when we are able to sell the scarves here in Lancaster, you not only are buying a beautiful scarf that's one of a kind, but it tells a story, and then you're also basically donating half of that to these homes. So it's a fun thing.
It's amazing how where it started and the difference this is making around the world.
Yeah.
Because it really is. So how can we help?
Yeah.
Dory, what would you like to say?
Well, right now the immediate need is those that can sew. And
Okay.
it's not difficult sewing. It's straight seams, and that's where the backup is. It doesn't take very long to design a scarf. You can do that in 15 minutes. Each scarf, on average, may take an hour, depending on the fabric and how
Right.
difficult the fabric is. We are always looking for donations of fabric. So if anyone has fabric they'd like to donate, or if they would like to get a group of people together to cut any donations people want to bring in, those are the basics.
So if you're cleaning things out, yeah, this is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
Give that new life.
Exactly,
That's right.
especially if you find sweaters that have a hole, like some sweaters do,
Yeah, right.
or the whole pit stain, like shirts with
Yeah.
things that you can't give to a
Yeah.
thrift store or something. Like that's what I love using, because otherwise it ends up in the landfill.
Exactly.
Or yeah, but we don't want them to end up in a landfill. We want them to end up in a scarf. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you are also on social media, is that right?
We are.
Where are you?
Yes, we are. It's Binding Love Scarves. If you Google Binding Love Scarves, you'll probably end up getting the Instagram and the Pinterest and the Twitter and the
Facebook
Facebook
and Twitter
all
and just
sorts of
basically
things.
everywhere,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And if you go to the website, then definitely it has it all linked there too.
Yeah.
But-
So if we want to get a hold of you
Yeah.
with some items or to help sew, what's the easiest, most direct way to do that?
Yeah, probably through email or direct messaging through social media.
Okay.
And it will probably get to me, and then I will hand it off
Okay.
because she's taking care of Lancaster area. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's not even one particular season. This is all
No,
year, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now we're trying to put together lighter weight, just like the one that I have on is a lot lighter weight. In the winter we do more sweater weight scarves and flannels, so yeah, it can be multiple seasons.
Yes. So I'm told that anybody can do this, even Hollywood actors.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah, that is very true. Anyone definitely can do it.
So there was a brief story that you went to Hollywood
Yeah,
because they
we
were
did.
interested in this concept.
They
Is that
did.
right?
They thought it was a neat idea, and so I took a sewing machine and I took clothing and I took scissors, and I said, okay, then you guys can be a part of it and you can help. So of course some of the actresses were like, I've never sewed before in my life, and I was like, well, it's like driving a car. You just have to push the pedal, and
There you
you don't
go.
want to floor it. But
Right.
yeah, so it was neat. So definitely, we've had even like youth groups participate in some stuff and cut clothing. Like honestly, if you know how to cut a straight line,
Yeah.
you can help.
Well, there you go. I mean, it can be youth groups, it can be
Yeah.
school projects,
Yep.
it can be other group projects. Businesses can even take this
Yes.
on as well,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if you can think about it and you have a group of people together,
Yeah.
you can do this.
Yeah. So true.
What I think is interesting with this as well is that you were so passionate about this desire to truly make a difference. And I think that's what also resonated with you too, right, Dory?
Yes. Yes.
So what would you say to other people that have some desire about
Yeah.
something? Because sometimes it's not easy to
Yeah.
do, but you have to take those steps, right?
Absolutely. And I think it began with God giving me this idea of like, oh, simple idea. Like, I just want to help. I'll just do what I can. So I knew how to sew a simple scarf, and I'm not a very good seamstress, but I knew how to sew straight lines. And I think some people, it might be, oh, I know how to bake a meal. So you bake a meal for someone. Like, I know how to, like the different, what you think of like, oh, I know how to do this.
Yes.
How can I do it for good, or how can I just help? So I think that just really inspires, me and others. I don't even get bored with these, and this has been
No.
12 years, and I still love designing.
Well, it's so
and-
creative.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that is just the inspiration of, let the Lord give you an idea, and then just
Run with
go for it. Yeah, yeah,
Run with
exactly.
it. Dory, give me a final thought from you with this, because this is so near and dear to your heart, and I know it gives purpose every day, doesn't it?
It does, and it just fit in perfect with my interests. And I've loved the scarves from the first time I was exposed to them several years ago, and liking to do things behind the scenes, organizing, coordinating, and like Audra said, it just doesn't get boring because you always have different fabrics you're
Yeah.
working with, and then trying to, all the other thing too, we're always looking for any other locations that would like to
okay.
sell the scarves. Always open to that and trying to expand the area that we cover.
That makes sense. That's good.
It's a wonderful ministry.
It definitely is. So Binding Love, and you can go to bindinglove.org or just do a Google search and we'll find it. This is wonderful. You're doing such great work.
Thank you.
Beautiful items to wear and making a big difference in the world, especially for our young women.
Yes.
Yeah. What is it, like 5 through 17? Is that what the age with that?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for taking time today.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you
And for
having
sharing
us.
this, and we'll
It's been fun.
see you out there.
Happy to share it.
And if you want to get a hold of them, you know how to do that too.
Yeah.
So thank you for joining us today. I'm Diane Dayton with Behind the Lines, reminding you to look behind the lines. You might be surprised what you find.